What's up, what's up, what's up? Just if you're in the house. Today is a beautiful day, nice and warm. You know, I'm in the car, just driving to go meet some friends, do some talking. Today's subject is about relationships, about how to, a good, the ideal partner or something like that. So anyway, if you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that button, hit the notifications all. So even when I wake up in the morning, you'll be notified. And I'll put some descriptions in for any donations or anything that you would like to pass along and to help me, continue doing these videos. No, I'm joking. I don't need money to do the videos, but anyway, let's start off. So I want to tell you a story about my mom, who she's in heaven right now, but back in Hawaii, I think it was in probably 1993 or 94, I was at home and sitting down, and my mother came and sat next to me, and we just started talking about life, and relationships came up. And my mother, she has been married 3 times, 3 sons, and stuff like that. So she's had boyfriends and stuff like that, boyfriends, and some relationships were okay, some weren't okay. Of course, her last relationship was 17 years with a white guy who was really cool. I think it was 17 years, yeah. And but in Hawaii, she was asking me about relationships, and it started off by us just talking about, women, men, the problems they have, how to resolve the problems and stuff like that. And I told her that a man and a woman is a mental maturity. And when a male adult arrives into his mental maturity, then it's almost like that third eye opens up and he begins to understand things. The same with the woman. When an adult woman reaches that level of mental maturity, whatever it is, maturity, then it's like that third eye open up. When that third eye opens up, it's almost literally like opening up the book of the wisdom of God. Everything just becomes clearer. You do have challenges. I mean, even, God has challenges with us on earth, trying to still constantly asking us to accept his heart, Lord, his son, telling us constantly to be good, telling us constantly to do this, do that, do that, do this, to the point where, why don't he just destroy us, create a better human being, right? So, or more obedient one anyway. But I told her it's like that third eye opens up and you see things clearer and you begin to understand things better. And when you pursue opportunities or your goals, you pursue them with knowing and the fact that, hey, the only thing you can do is apply yourself the best that you know how with the knowledge that you have, understanding that the more knowledge that you gain, you understand there's just that much more that you don't know that's out there that you need to gain. So what I told her is, I said, a man and a woman can walk down the street. They don't know each other. All they have to do is pretty much look at each other, stop, have a conversation, and no more than 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes max, they'll understand that whether they have reached, or the person they're talking to has reached that mental maturity. And once they do, they can get married, easily get married. It ain't got to know about their history or nothing. They can easily get married because they're always going to understand that when problems come along, there are so many how can I say, additives to it, things that'll come along later that can break that relationship up based on what is going on, and the other person is totally understanding, and will tell the other person, okay, it's your turn to go and pursue whatever you got to do. Now whether they divorce or they do divorce based on whatever those other opportunities are, they can do that in a, how can I say, in a pleasant way, where they're still friends. Okay, and if they have any children, that they would have already planned in the beginning of how to financially take care of those children, whether they, one, cease to live on the earth or whatever problems that come along. Now, what I'm saying is there are problems that people are going to have, and sometimes these problems are going to take a while to clear up. Sometimes problems don't clear up, but still they understand those things. Nothing's perfect, but there is an understanding that is involved with having a mature mind, that mental maturity versus not having it. And one of the things that I've always thought about, and I kind of discovered it for myself many decades ago, that there are two kinds of stress in the world. One is the stress that other people bring to you, and the other stress is the ones that you cause. So that internal and external stress. The internal stress, you have 100% control over that. Okay, you can walk around stress-free. Not saying that you don't have problems, not saying that there are problems that you can't solve or anything, but the stress of the problem or a particular problem that you have will not be there. But that stress that comes from the outside is really nothing you can do about that, because it's coming. The rain is coming. This is coming. The day is coming. The hunger is coming. You know what I'm saying? Sickness is coming. Sadness, it's coming. But it's how you deal with it. So what I mean with the difference is the external stress is coming. Forget it. It's there. But the internal stress doesn't have to come. It doesn't have to come. You can be 100% stress-free. Okay? And having problems and having stress are two totally different things. So there is a big difference between the two. And in a relationship, or in any relationships, those are the main factor, and the main factors of a relationship. And sometimes people do have difficulty distinguishing between which is which. And some people don't know how to control the internal stress, and another thing is they don't understand that the internal stress also can be caused by you when there's nothing there. Okay, so let me move on. A relationship between a man and a woman is really should be based on the mental maturity that they have, or that should be the foundation. And then from there, the whole relationship plan, the things that you want to do should be talked about. And that is really the case. Now, how do you get to that? How do you, a lot of people, you might see a woman, a guy that you want to be with. How do you approach them? What do you do? How do you find out whether they're there? Well, if you are talking to a person, and because see what it is to find a person who is mentally mature it should be automatic, but sometimes a lot of people don't understand how can I say, what are those things called? let's see, the components, the ingredients of it. Okay, and a lot of people don't know what those are. A lot of people don't see them, because usually when you meet a person, you're only going to know them based on what they how can you say that? Based on what they hear, or I mean not hear, but first it's going to be on sight, and then the conversation. And the conversation could be a good conversation, because there are a lot of people out there who may not be fit for a husband or a wife, but they can definitely conduct a very good conversation. And one thing that I tell a lot of people is, listen, you know, that I've been really advocating nowadays, when you walk up to a person and you start talking, just ask them a question. Can you name 10 non-synonymous positive adjectives about yourself in 1 minute? And it's a game, but it's a game that really will help you avoid a lot of stuff, you know. And if the person cannot do it, then that is an indication that there's going to be a communication when this person is asked, or when this person has to describe themselves, tell you about themselves. You know, when you walk up to a person, say, hey, how you doing? Well, it's cool. Tell me about yourself. You know, what do you like this? And instead of you asking and guessing all these questions, which most of them are all the same, pretty much something like, you know, external stuff, you know, where do you live, what things you like, what kind of job you got, and all that stuff. But those questions are good and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with asking those questions. But the whole thing is that those are not necessarily the questions that tells you about the person. As far as their personality, it tells you what they do and stuff like that. So I've asked a lot of people about that, and I've only had 4 answers. One came in less than 30 seconds, and it was from a sister. The other 3 came with, I mean, just barely scratching a minute, and those came from 3 sisters. And also I was in this other online group and called Clubhouse, and we was in the military part, and I just asked the guys, you know, I mean, it was a lot of guys and women in there, and I said, hey, you know, can you guys name 10 non-synonymous positive adjectives about yourself? And they started just saying all these things that really don't, I mean, of course it's about their personality, but it really doesn't have any weight to it. You know, I'm hardworking, you know, and I'm like, okay, sure, that's good, and everybody understand that, but it's better to work smart. You know what I'm saying? And then, but, you know, and it is a description of you, but you know, is that something that you want to tell a person that you want to get with, you know, that you work hard? You know, I'm thinking that, I would think that, you know, if you're going to answer the questions, there would be more, it would be more pertinent or more connecting to, you know, how you're going to deal with the person in a relationship. When you do have problems, how you're going to solve it, you know, how do you control your emotions and things like that. I think those would be better, you know, especially when you are talking to someone and stuff like that for the first time. You know, if that question were to ask, because you want to create, within that 1 minute, if you can create 10 adjectives that can stick with the person, that, you know, you can connect with the person, then that would be great. But sometimes, you know, a lot of the synonyms that those guys were saying, the women also were saying, there were things that, you know, it's just like, you know, a pair of jeans. You know, you only need it when you want it. It's not there. It's not constantly there like the oxygen, you know, or water, or the earth, you know what I'm saying, the planet, you know, and plants and things like that. So it was really interesting. But, and a lot of people tried to do it. And of course they did start just saying all kinds of stuff. And, you know, it came and gone, you know, the question came and gone really quick. But to be on the serious side, you know, that is an indication that you can truly have, measure, think about, and decide at that point how you want to pursue it. Whether you just want to cut it off altogether, whether you just want to be friends. I mean, because it's like when you're meeting someone and you ask them what kind of job they have, and they say, oh, you know, I'm a manager at McDonald's, and some people might want to be with them, some people might not, you know what I'm saying? Or you can say, well, you know, I own my own corporation, you know. And then some people might want to be with this person, some people might not. Now, the reason I'm saying might not, you know, is because those people who have their own business, they do have to spend a lot of time taking care of their business. And a lot of people don't know how to take care of their business in such a way where the business take care of themselves, and they have more time to go out and have fun and enjoy life with their families or whoever they're with, you know, and let the company or the people in the company do it. Now, I made a video a long time ago, and it was more or less like, you know, I would like to make a business where I could be gone for 6 months and don't even have to show up, still get paid, maybe get a phone call, max 1 hour each day talking about the business, you know, because nowadays, you know, I mean, just depending on what kind of business, I mean, what kind of business you have as an owner, and how good you are with your vocabulary and the relationship with the people who you are, who will work with you, then a lot of times you don't even have to be there and stuff. And I think that's, you know, a really good idea, business and things like that. Now, let's say, like, for instance, if you're trading, well, you got to be there all day, you know, you probably won't have too much time to spend with the family, even though you're at home, but you still got to concentrate on that work and stuff. But it's really interesting and stuff. And the relationships, you know, I was listening to this podcast on stereo, and this lady was talking about how she was with these two guys, and pretty much she trained them on how to be a man. Then once they got that, they came to realize that, hey, you know, she's the teacher, so it's no reason dating a teacher. And they went out and found some people, some other women, and got married. And her and the guy was talking, and he was giving her advice, and she was saying things, and it was like they were like the perfect couple. So of course, you know, I made my little 2-cent comments, but the last one I was saying, hey, you know, if you guys can talk like this and you can understand these things that you're saying, then you two should get married. You know. And I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, you really should. I mean, not saying that if they weren't in a relationship, because, you know, you do have guys out there who are mature, but they just don't want to get married because they understand the benefits of having a mature mind and being able to actually allow that to bring different, you know, people into their lives, or women into their lives, and they don't have to get married. You know, because you can, I mean, not saying just because you mature and everything don't mean you have to get married. It just means that you will be able to avoid a lot of mistakes. And then if you do want to get engaged or get married, then you know how to choose the most the person who's, how can I say, already came equipped, you know, mentally, to deal with the problems of being married and stuff like that. So when I said that, you know, they didn't really, you know, I kind of listened to their answer. They really didn't say anything. It was like, you know, and I understood that they understood what I said, and what I said was really true. You know, they could have, I mean, you know, if they both were single, they could have gotten married and probably had a wonderful life, you know. But, you know, the way they were talking, especially when he was giving her advice, he wasn't thinking in that way. And when I brought it up, it was like, oh boy, you know. But I had to leave. I didn't know what happened with the rest of the conversation, but it was really interesting. But yeah, relationships, you know, a lot of people have, those are things that you really can control. And there are a lot of instances that you can actually find the right person. And Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's really such a simple concept. I mean, even myself, you know, I've been married 3 times. All the women who I married, you know, I consider myself mentally mature. You know, I do have my situations and stuff that has changed. You know, I let a lot of things change and things like that. And like I said, I didn't marry for love. You know, I just married because we were like friends, and you know, it's no big thing. I mean, you know, when you're a man, you're mature. You don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily have to get married. You can date, you know, adult women who are cool, nice. You can marry them, knowing that, you know, there are going to be problems that you're going to have. You know, because it could. I mean, because you don't. I mean, because finding a woman who can describe herself, who can talk, you can have fun with, you know, is not difficult to do. And just because she has those qualities about herself and can do those things, don't necessarily mean that she's mentally mature. You know, I talk to my students, you know, and they talk about fun things that they're doing and things like that. But of course, you know, because of their age, they're not mature. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, when they're in high school, you know, because they still got so many things that they haven't dealt with. But then you got some kids who are serious, you know, because of whatever their parents taught them, or the stress, or whatever, you know. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're mature. And so, you know, college students the same. You know, you can hang out with people, and because a lot of people do know how to have fun, but knowing how to have fun and then being at a mature level mentally are 2 different things. So there are a lot of people who are in relationships that they are not with the partner who is mentally mature and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that you should just hold out for that. You know, it's okay, do what you want, but understand that it is possible. It is very possible to find and meet those people, and you would expect that because of these different platforms that are out now, and these dating sites and stuff that are out now, that you would think you can find a person like that. But evidently, you know, there are a lot of people out there who are still struggling. When you go on dates and you go out with people, you could soon find out that, oh, I wish I would never even spoken to a person. Oh man, you guys see, was that a Pontiac Oldsmobile that just drove by? A Buick, was it? Oh, that was cool. It's like that green color. Oh man, I was looking to my right and happened to turn and look to the left, and I saw it. The hood, I mean the trunk part of it. So I'm thinking maybe it was a Chevy, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, those, you know, getting into relationships and things like that, you know, it's really, you really need to understand that the number one thing is maturism. And I'm not even saying that you have to be mentally mature to even get married. I'm saying that those are probably some of the best relationships that you're going to have, because finding somebody who is mentally mature and being mentally mature, you're going to let's see, what it means is that it's going to be more complete. You know, there are going to be a lot of problems that as you're solving them, that you will eliminate all the silly things. You know, you'll be able to, I mean, not all problems you won't be able to resolve, because no one's perfect, but a lot of the problems, the way that you pursue them, handle them, it'll be very, very different and stuff. So it's you know, so it's really a simple thing, but at the same thing, it's challenging, especially when you know, when you get to the point of being mature, that you know that there are going to be a lot of people, you know, people, that potential partners that you're going to meet who are wonderful, but just because of that one aspect is missing, you know, truthfully, you should pass on and find someone else. But sometimes, you know, that spark, that fun, that laughter might not always be something that you run into, you know, because it's, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, to find that perfect person. And so people say, okay, I'll just deal with it, and they settle with it. And of course, you know, you can have a good relationship with a person who's not truly mentally there. I mean, mature. I'm not saying that, I mean, like, all of us we're all mature and everything, but there's this level, there's this understanding that that's missing, and we know it. You know, when you're with somebody, you know something is missing, you know, but you're still having fun with them, you're still having kids with them, you know, still doing things with them, but you know it's missing. But you take the sacrifice because you calculate, well, okay, out of 10 things that a person need to be fully a person, I mean, you know, that mature person, you might only have 3, but those 3 items are so powerful and so fun that it's enough to give you the strength to deal with the other 7 that's not there, you know, or that's not there, you know. And you know, a lot of people go through relationships like that. But anyway, I gotta go. I'm out. Peace.